Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm back here tonight with another requested reading, and this request is going to be an energy reading between Nicki Minaj and Lewis Hamilton. So back in 2018, there was some rumors going around that they were possibly together. Of course, it was never confirmed, but they did spend some time together. And, you know, people did speculate, as they always do. So I did get a request to read the both of them together, so that's what we're going to do and see what comes up. I have my tarot here and then a couple of my oracle cards as well, and we'll see what comes up for these two. So I have everything all shuffled. Let me get everything all laid out here. I'm gonna have to move you guys just a little bit. Apologize. So anyways, continuing on, remember, as always, if you have any other requests you'd like to see from me, please feel free to drop a comment below. I will get it on the list and get it out for you as soon as I can. It will probably be a couple weeks, give or take, so please bear with me. But rest assured that it is coming. Also, if you're interested in your own private reading from me, I do offer those $5 to my Venmo or PayPal. Tarot readings, love, general, career, also oracle readings. I have a beautiful collection of oracle decks. You get messages from angels, messages from your deceased loved ones, you know, things that you need to hear the most right now. And I also offer 25 yes/no questions with a pendulum. I have read over a dozen of my subscribers. I've gotten some pretty good feedback. So if it's something you're interested in, you can get a hold of me in my email in the description box below. And if you don't want to do that, it's perfectly fine. It's just a way to help me continue to practice and, you know, get myself out there more. And the easiest way to do that is to read other people, especially where I can get feedback and stuff. But if not, just being here, you know, please at least like the video and subscribe. At least subscribe. And I thank you with infinite gratitude. That is enough support for me, and I thank you so much. So, yes, let's jump right into this. So, Nicki Minaj and Lewis Hamilton. First thing we'll do, because we usually do these when I'm reading, you know, two or more people. Let's just see where they are now. I mean, I don't think there's like... I mean, there might still be a connection with these two, but let's just see where each of them individually is at energetically right now. And then we'll hop in and see what kind of energy they had going on together, especially back then, because it had a lot of people talking. So he is coming up as the King of Wands, so Lewis. So a protective, natural-born leader, you know, an entrepreneur, self-made, faithful and inspiring, that kind of energy. So that's what he's coming up as. So let's see about Nicki. Let's come over here. So Nicki is coming up as the Ace of Wands. So this is about, you know, creative energy, you know, new opportunities, vitality, you know, being fearless, having breakthroughs, like newness, you know, some newness as well, especially with Ace, usually is a beginning. And, yeah, that's where she's at energetically right now. So let's jump into this as a whole and see what comes up. Alrighty. I'm going to go with this one because it's bothering me. Okay, interesting. So we have the Five of Swords, the conflict card. The conflict card. So, yeah. I'm wondering if this was like what transpired to like end this, because obviously it didn't go any further. You know, they hung out, they spent some time together, some photos went around, and then it just kind of abruptly stopped. At least for my understanding. But, yeah, I'm wondering if that's, like, what ended it. Because something had to have. I mean, obviously they decided they didn't want to, like, pursue this further. And they never really came out and acknowledged that they were together. There was just rumors of it. All right, King of Swords. So... high standards, mental clarity, honesty and truth. I feel like, too, whatever happened between these two, you know, why ever they decided to go their own ways and not, you know, take this relationship or whatever it was further, it was more influenced by like practicality, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't, I don't know, I guess what I'm trying to say, it was just logical for them. You know, there just wasn't enough emotional connection is what I feel. They had fun though. I feel like it was definitely fun for them, but it wasn't going to go anywhere, you know? It just wasn't going to. Next we have the Six of Wands. This is about achievement, improvement. Trying to think. Because this card, you know, obviously with like the success and the victory and the achievement, it's also, you know, about public recognition too. Oh, maybe it was for attention. I don't know. Let's continue on. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. You know, it's just how it is. One thing I am working on right now, because it's going to help me, you know, in the future, I am working on making my own deck. I want my own deck that I can read off of. You know, sometimes I do still get a little stuck with the tarot, so I want to make my own deck. I'm working on that now. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I want to have it set up in my way to where I can really understand it and kind of dive deep more into it. I think it'd be a lot easier for me to read because, you know, unfortunately, with the way my brain is, it's hard for me sometimes to understand. I don't see everything. Sometimes I don't understand it. I think I get a little overwhelmed sometimes too with tarot because there's so many different ways that things can go, you know, which that kind of makes it cool. It makes it interesting. But sometimes, like if you have a neurodivergent mind like I do, sometimes it can be difficult. But we're working on it, you know, I mean, I've done pretty good so far, so I just don't get them all, you know, there's some readings I do, I don't know, you know, I don't know, and I'm never gonna just make shit up either, because it's just not who I am. Anyways, continuing on, we have the Three of Cups, so it's about hanging out, you know, friendship. I think, honestly, that's all it ever was, you know. They had fun together, you know, hanging out. I really think they enjoyed each other's company, but it never was going to be anything more than that. You know, it was just strictly going to be just friendship. That's what I feel. Next, we have the Three of Wands. Yeah, I just feel like, you know, after they spent time, and I'm not saying maybe that's what they were working towards. I mean, you know, maybe they wanted to try to see if it can go anywhere, but it just wasn't going to. You know, they just realized it just wasn't it. You know, they kind of had to find their own way, you know, with other people. Just, I feel like it's just more of like a fling type thing more than anything, but just my opinion. Eight of Swords. It's like one of them like kind of felt confined. They just like felt restricted. Just, it never was going to be anything, you know. That's what I feel. I mean, I'm sorry I'm not really picking up more with this. You know, sometimes, like I said, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. A lot of it just depends on what I'm reading. Like I said, I definitely feel like, you know, there was that connection is the best word, you know. They spent time together, they enjoyed the time together, and then they just come to realize it was never going to be anything, you know. It was more just kind of playful energy is what I feel between them. That's just how I feel, you know. Let me know what you think. Next, we have the High Priestess, about intuitive, secrets, wisdom. So, yeah. Let's just pull some of the oracle cards and see what comes up. I apologize, I couldn't really give you more. It's just kind of what I feel. I'm not seeing a whole lot. I feel like it was just kind of like a flirty fling for a little bit, but it just never was going to go anywhere. That's just how I feel. I'm not getting a whole lot with it. At least not with this one. Okay, where'd that fly out? Yeah, it was more like a friendship. It was definitely more of a friendship. That's what I feel. Unrequited love. Yeah, they never would have been able to give each other, like, what they truly needed. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been, like, an equal exchange. Like, somebody would have been putting more into the other. And I'm glad they realized that before they actually, you know, got together and actually confirmed that they were dating. Sometimes that's a good thing, you know? Figure it out before it's too late. But yeah, there was the chemistry, you know, there was that attraction, absolutely. And then, you know, again, this is kind of how I feel. It was like a flirty, playful type of energy between these two. It wasn't, you know, like love or anything, but it was fun, you know, it was playful, is how I feel. We'll do 2 more. All right, we got that one and that one. Yeah, there it is. There it is right there. Yeah, that's what I feel between these two. It was a playful energy. That playful, flirty kind of energy for sure. So that right there confirms. I'm not too far off. And then we have the friend zoned. Yeah, it never was going to be anything more than friends. That right there kind of confirms it. I can't really take it any further than that. Again, I do apologize. Some of my readings will not always be the best, but you know, I do appreciate you for giving me the request, and I appreciate you for watching. So I hope you enjoyed a little bit of it. Again, I do apologize, but doing the best I can. But I will leave it at this. And again, if you or anybody else has any other requests you'd like to see from me, please feel free to comment below, and I'll get it out for you as soon as I can. And other than that, I hope to see you all in the next one. I hope you have a great night. Bye, guys.